Welcome back to the channel, Red Shoes Diary. I hope you've had another great week. I hope that you can spend time with friends, family, loved ones. I hope and pray you took time to talk to the good Lord. Back up on the ridge a little bit, and looking around at the views, and weather's just about right, nice, cool, a little wind blowing. Been raining. It started in last night, rained up this morning. Quite a bit of rain it looked like, but ground's done soaked it up where it's been so dry. But we definitely need it. I think they're saying we're going to get a little more rain. And up till Sunday, I think. Better chance Saturday, I think. Something other. Anyway, irrelevant. Thankful for it. And can't complain. Had a good week. Blessed for that. Granddaughter, she turned 3 this past week. And she had a little, she, she had a little birthday party at little, they call it Parents' Day out. Daycare, like little deal, whatever. She goes 2 days a week and took donuts. So her mama's telling me about it, my daughter. And I had to laugh. I said, Papa will get her in. So I went and bought me one of them little bags, that powdered donuts. I sent her a video that day. I said, well, since you didn't invite me down to your birthday, didn't save me no donuts, Papa had to go buy him some. Well, later that night, my daughter was laughing. She sent me a text and said, well, I showed that video. So, see, you didn't give Papa no donuts. You didn't save him none. She was, well, yeah, because Papa's got his own. So, I can't argue that logic. Papa went by his own. Wasn't no reason for her to share hers. And, and they had the birthday party and had to laugh. You know, they was, she'd open cards and stuff and to look at stuff. People's like, well, what's it say? She goes, happy birthday. Then she'd sling the card. She did. She knew they was all happy birthday cards. She wasn't sure what else they said, but she knew they was gonna say happy birthday somewhere in there. So she had a big time. And daughter sometimes says she's turned into a teenager. She's 3, acting like she's becoming a teenager already. And I told her, I said, well, maybe she's trying to give you a preview of what it's gonna be like when she becomes a teenager. She's like, well, I'm not so sure me or her, either one's gonna survive till she makes a teenager. So she is a very strong-willed little gal. So you gotta laugh about it and tickle you, watch them grow up, intelligence and stuff, and how they look and think about stuff. And I was thinking also about this past week at church, and I got to talk about things going on in churches. You know, people, a lot of the gossip and stuff that goes on. One of them was up there talking about it and how things affect people, and preacher got to talk about people being in, like in the valley stuff, not to forget if you're in the valleys. Down low, we're always busy, you know, crying out to God or praying and ask for this or that. It's like, but when you're up on the top, we should be doing things. We shouldn't forget to praise Him for what He's done for us, which makes very much good sense. And we don't. And I was talking, I said, well, sad part is lots of times you need to be careful when you're in that valley who's with you in the valley. When you're down that low part of your life, who are you so, who's your circle of friends? Who are you around? Because you have friends who stay in that valley all the time. They love to wallow in misery and mire. They're always complaining. They're always putting somebody else down. They're always causing strife and anger with other people. I know people that, they're constantly in turmoil with somebody or something. It doesn't matter what it is. They're never at peace. And when they are at peace, they'll find something to fight or argue about. It's just their nature of who they are, and instead of being thankful for peace and finding peace and wanting that in you, they're busy, living in chaos, turmoil. And the thing about it is, if the people you surround yourself, if that's where they want to stay, most of them want to keep you there with you. You list a lot of people who, had be went somewhere for sobriety, was drinking, lots of times drugs, especially the younger people, and they go and get sobered up, get straightened out. They're really doing great. They come back home, and the people that they run with all their lives that probably helped them get to that position, well, they don't want to turn their back. Oh, they're my friends. They're my friends. Well, them same friends are still in that culture. Them same friends are the ones going, yeah, I'm your friend, I'm your buddy. Oh, you feeling bad? Yeah, buddy, but I got something to help you a little bit. It won't bother you once, you just take a little, you don't do all that. Well, next thing you know, these same ones right back where they is. A friend of mine's uh, knowed the boy, their son, when he was young, growing up, great kid, on the farm, his dad, papa, all this stuff, used to pull tractors, all this stuff. Wound up in the middle of a bunch of that mess. They got him sent off, got him straightened out. He come back home, young boy, still in his early 20s, doing great, married, had, I think he had either 4 or 5 kids, doing good, had a good job, everything was going well. But somewhere along the line, he got back around them same boys again. And, well, not a year or two, a couple years later, they had his funeral. And it's just sad because you've seen that boy. If you've grown up and you watch these kids grow up and you see what happens to them, it's a heartbreaker. And it definitely is for the family. And then it is for us to watch on the outside and look in and know what kind of kid it is. But on that part about the valley, I'm not quote me this. I won't say it's Moses, might be wrong with that. There's a passage in the Bible where they're in a great battle. And as he stood up on that hill and stuff, he throwed his arms up, and as long as his arms up, he's praising, shouting out to God, they's winning the battle. As it got more tired, more down, his arms started to drop. Well, as his arms dropped, well, guess what? The battle turned. They started losing. And 2 people come up to him. They put a block underneath him where he sat down. And they held his arms up, those 2 did. And as they held his arms up, the battle went to changing. And they won. But that goes to prove, when you're at your lowest thing, that's what you want. You want the people around you who are going to take and lift you up. When you don't feel like you can go any further, you want those people around you. You want surrounded with people who's going to lift you up. Lift you up in prayer, as they say, stand in the gap for you, be there for you. That's what you need. And it's hard sometimes when sometimes you have to let go of people you know all your life. You love them to death. They've been friends for all your life. But you sometimes have to step away from them. Because if they're not lifting you up, then they're bringing you down. Now, I'm not telling you to turn your back completely on them. Sometimes you have to. I know that might sound harsh, but sometimes you have to. You literally have to walk away from that. You still, when you see them, be polite, talk to them and stuff, but you just have to quit messing with it, because sooner or later it's going to bite you. And that's as simple as it is. The people you surround yourself with, it's like I was talking last week about the table and about the pedestal. Maybe you're on your table that's wobbling or your pedestal. You need friends who's going to level it out or put a block underneath you. Say, here, step right here. Stabilize yourself. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you up. And in the same way of that, you as a Christian should be doing the same thing. You need to surround yourself, but you also need to be one of those people who's there to help people, your friends, family, loved ones. People in your church don't matter. Might be your neighbors. Your prayers and lifting them up and helping them might be what helps them get through stuff. That's the thing about it. When you down there, if the people you surround yourself is helping and lifting you up, then when they get there, you're able to help and lift them up. But, sometimes it's a little tough, folks. But that choice is up to you. All I can do is put this out here, what I feel like I'm led, the things that comes through my mind during the week. And maybe it'll help you. Maybe it'll make you mad. Maybe you'll never watch me again. That's okay. I respect that. Everybody has to choose. And maybe if it makes you mad in a way, it makes you, mad for a while. But when you get to think about it, contemplating, well, maybe that does apply to me. Maybe I need to make a few changes. I don't know. If I can make you think about the good Lord, think about yourself. You know, I never quote straight, pure scriptures. I quote what I remember and think, and what applies in my own life, things I've done. My failures and stuff, because I've definitely failed. All men sin, fall short of honor and glory of God. That's just part of life, folks. I'm thankful He's a 7 times 70 person to forgive, because that's what He tells us to do, 7 times 70 to forgive. So, hopefully, somewhere, some of these videos or something there might touch you, might lift you up. Hopefully, it brings a smile to your face. Maybe make you laugh or giggle or shake your head and say, well, obviously, he's a very thing poster boy for prayer, because if his mama and them wasn't praying, there ain't no way that boy would be alive. His mama and family and friends, I mean, that's simple as it is. But that is part of it, folks. I hope that you're having a great week. Hope you have a better week. I hope you have friendship, with everybody. Hope you take a little time, talk to the good Lord. Maybe get your own life straightened out. And hope you know you love and you pray for. Anyway, folks, have an excellent week. I'll try to talk to you next week. And maybe it'll be pretty weather as is now. I hope to be able to sneak off, and got a couple of chores need to be done. I hope to sneak off soon and wander around a little more. But like all things, we'll see. As always, may the good Lord take a liking to you, but not too soon. Austin.